I'm going to tell you about this amazing feature that everyone should have on their portfolio website, a button to download your CV. I wish it was something a bit more interesting than that. Well, whatever. Today I'm going to show you how to add a download button to your website that downloads your CV straight from Google Docs. I've seen a few websites store their CV in a static PDF file, which is stored in their assets folder. This works fine, but it means that every time you update your CV, you have to manually upload the new version to the site, and I cannot be bothered to do that. With the method I'll be sharing, you can write and store your CV in Google Docs. We can then use the Google Docs API to download it directly to the user's device, and whenever you make changes to your CV, they'll automatically be reflected on your website. There are two possible routes for this, and they are both free. Using the Google Docs API and publishing the doc to the web. I'm going to be covering both today, but I'll start with the cool option and use the API. So here's the website I'll be upgrading. It's not much, but it's mine. Currently, if I click download my CV, it takes me to the static PDF. However, it doesn't automatically download, which would be a nice quality of life feature. So let's upgrade this. First of all, you'd set up a Google Cloud project for your website. So let's do that now. It should just take a few moments. And it's done. Let's click Select Project. We then need to enable the Google Docs API. Search for API and services. Click on Enable APIs and Services. Now search for Google Drive. Click Enable. Now click Credentials, Create Credentials, API Key. Now that we have an API key set up, we need to ensure that it's only used for Google Docs. This adds a layer of security for your API key. So let's click into it. Click Restrict Key and search for Google Drive. And be sure to save it. Now you need to make a note of the API key. Click Show Key and copy to clipboard. And save it to a notepad somewhere just for the time being. The next piece of information that you need is the file ID of the file that you'd like to download on your website. This is really easy to get, and it's just in the URL of the document, right here, between the two slashes. Copy that and save it to your notepad. Now it's time for the fun part, the actual code. As you can see here, I've got my button. I want to replace this function with a new one that I'm going to write, which uses Axios and Download.js. And here's what I made earlier. Let's go through it line by line. On line 5, we define the URL that we're going to use. I'm using two environment variables here, document ID and API key. The syntax for your environment variables may differ, but I strongly suggest that you use environment variables. This is so you can protect your API key. The next line, we use Axios to create a GET request on that specified URL. However, we specify that the response type is going to be a blob or a binary object, specifically a PDF. Next, what we try to do is download that data. We can give it a name, which is going to be the name of my CV, and again, the type of object. And on line 10, I'm just doing a simple bit of error catching, just for debugging purposes. Now what I can do is delete this old function and import my new function. Now let's give it a whirl. Let's click download my CV. And let's save it. And let's check what it looks like. And there we have it. We've downloaded our CV successfully. The download link on this website will always download the latest version of your doc, so you never have to update it. It's amazing. Now, let's quickly go through the other method. This is a little bit easier and you don't have to go through the cloud. First of all, go to Google Doc, click File, Share, and click Publish to Web, and copy the link. Now in your project, let's create a new function called Visit CV. All it's going to do is replace the current URL with the URL that you just copied from the Google Doc. Let's paste it in here. I've created a second button that I'm going to use with my Visit CV function. Now, let's see what happens when I click the Check Out My Other CV button. It's my CV. As you can see, it's updated automatically every 5 minutes. It's just not as cool as downloading it, but it works. And there you have it. By using Google Docs, you can have a more dynamic and up-to-date CV while having to manually upload a new version every time you make changes. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and I'll see you in the next one.